Welcome back, sports fans, to a brand new episode of Table Talk. Everything that you need for your fantasy football league. We're going to get into Week 14. Let's go! Before we can get into Week 14, we got to cover Week 13 and Week 12 this week. So let's get right off to it, and let's see who made it on the score. Last week, Week 12, Trace made it on the score with a 155.16 score. That a boy, Trace, the playoff-bound team. Here we go. And with Week 13, Scotty 316 made it on the score with a 139.68 score. Just one more week left. Who's going to be the last one to get on the score? I don't know, and I don't really care. Just like there's always a winner, there's always a loser. And these past 2 weeks, there's been some real losers out there. But one in particular I'm thinking of, McKenny, Week 12 and Week 13, with a dismal 95.2 and 95.9. Way to stay consistent there, McKenny. All right. Let's move on in to rankings. Whoop. And let's take a look at who's on top and who's on bottom this week. Well, the Ginge has captured first place, it seems. And he's staying there. He looks like he's going to get a bye week. Good for him. So happy for him. And right below him's Bear, Will, Trace, Taco, Weber, and Jackamania. Now, I brought up 7 this week because there's a big push for the 7 and 6 teams to win. Only 6 teams can make the playoffs, but there are 7 contenders. Okay, so everyone else down here, no one cares about. And let's get on over to projections. This week's projections is the last week of the regular season. We're going to be doing this because playoffs start next week. And you know what the Colonel always says? Can't beat the playoffs. So as you can see, Trace at the top of projections this week. The Ginge, Ray Streak, Big Will, and Taco touchdowns, the top 6. There's some dismal ones down here. There's a lot of low scores. It is a Bipocalypse week, so hopefully you're not that team or that guy who has 4 players on Bipocalypse and is hoping to get into the playoffs. Well, let's get these projections out of here, and let's talk about the games of the week. This is the true thick of it right here. We are talking 4 different matches. 4 different teams at 7 and 6. It is going to be a real slobber knocker, if you know what I'm saying. People are going down. People are going to be crying. And some people will be going to the playoffs. Not all of us will make it. But we have Lutton, Jackamania, Trace, and Taco's touchdowns, all 7 and 6, fighting for those last 2 spots. We'll see. It's going to be very interesting. Who's going to be 8 and 6, and join the other 8 and 5ers right now to the playoffs. All right, moving into NFL Game of the Week. This is going to be a great one. You're not going to want to miss it. You might say, well, Colonel, that sounds like a terrible game. Because it is a terrible game. But that was last year. The Jets are actually they're good. I'm talking, yep, Bills Jets. That's going to be the offensive touchdown throwing, fantasy winning game that you want your players in. All right, that's it. I don't really want to talk about games because I don't like the Jets and I don't like Bills suck. I mean, they don't suck. They're good. Whatever. Anyways, going right into studs and duds. Who is going to be the Colonel stud this week? I think CeeDee Lamb, he's going to pop up. Even though they're playing the Texans and don't really have to do anything, CeeDee Lamb's, I think he's just going to have a great week. You know, that's a bold prediction right there. You can take that one home. And who will be that dud? Who's going to be the dud of the week? I think Swift is going to come in and swiftly lose his job and he's not going to get the touchdowns that Mr. Brian's looking for. That's all right, because that makes Jackmania very happy. Okay, moving on from that. Playoffs. That's right, this is the last regular season episode, and we got to talk a little bit about playoffs. We talked about the primer 2 weeks ago. It was huge. It was a big, long episode. No one really watched it. But we're going to keep on going. Bye-week winners. There's 3 of them. 2 spots, 3 players. Either the Ginge, Bear, or Skull are going to get that bye week. Each division has a bye week. Who is going to get it? Can't wait to find out. It's going to be interesting. And in the race, I mentioned this, the 7 and 6 teams earlier. Trace, Taco, Weber, and Jackmania. Now that's order right there is an order of points. Trace has the most points among all those teams. Jackmania has the least amount of points of all those teams. But it's anyone's game. Anyone just needs 1 win to get into the playoffs. And it's a tight race this week. Every match is tight. You can't escape it. Someone's going to be doomed. And since we're talking about winners in the playoffs, we might as well talk about the loser playoffs. And who will get this fantastic trophy? The first person to get the Dickosaurus Rex loser trophy. I think it's going to be one of these 3 teams. Gray Streak, McKenny, or Polly. Now, McKenny's been on a losing streak, and it looks like it's not going to get any better this week. Gray Streak might actually pull an upset win, and Polly is in contention for the upset win. Right now, Gray Streak has the worst record in the league. 4-7. Not a record you want. But we're going to find out who's going to be the biggest loser. Who will get the first name on this trophy. Who will be on the final score next week. Who will be on the Shield, the regular season Shield, with the best regular season record. It could be one of the 3 big teams. I don't know which one yet. I hope you guys do. That's it for Table Talk. Thanks for joining us. We're out of here. Let's go.